I'm gonna bend you over, Salt Papi, and no one will stop me. You understand me? I'm the underdog, bro. You don't even know what you stepped into, bro. You don't even know.
Salt Papi, some strong words over there.
First of all, I'd like to thank God, my team, my brothers, and my dad for training me for this event, and my coach. I'd like to thank Happy Punch Promotions and Misfit Boxing, KSI, for giving me this opportunity. I'm very happy to be here. And I'd like to thank Andy Worski as well for taking this fight.
Respects.
Yeah, respect for that. And he can talk as much as he wants, but I let my hands do the talking in the ring, like I did.
Salt Papi, a final word?
I just wish him a speedy recovery. I'm starting kids like my age in the streets. I grew up watching Manny Pacquiao.
Showboating from Salt Papi.
Salt Papi has some of the best arms.
Salt Papi! Ladies and gentlemen, Salt Papi is the real deal!
Salt Papi making a statement with that one.
Social media has been taking over the entertainment industry. It's also starting to make noise in the professional sports industry. At a first glance, anyone could easily assume that this guy's only talents are watching anime and playing video games. This chubby Filipino dude is a living proof that muscles alone don't win fights, but real talent and skill. Meet Nathaniel Bustamante, aka Salt Papi. He was born and raised in Candelaria, Quezon. At age 14, he moved to the UK with his family for better opportunities in life. He loved boxing ever since he was a kid because of Manny Pacquiao. He used to engage in street fights for fun in some of his vlogs, which are actually entertaining to watch, but he never really trained seriously. He worked as a nurse in a mental health institution for 5 years until he struck gold when his fake run challenge on TikTok went viral. His popularity skyrocketed, and it didn't stop there because he became even more popular when he started uploading videos of himself pouring salt in the most ridiculous ways you could ever imagine.
Nice.
This is when he earned his infamous nickname. He made his boxing debut in March of 2022 when he was given the opportunity to match up against the English YouTuber Halal Ham. Days before the fight, Salt Papi's opponent couldn't stop talking smack.
You think you're better than boxing than me? Bastard, shut up! I'm going to send your Filipino back to China. Bastard, shut up!
But come fight night, he made Halal regret everything he said.
Oh, lovely lean counter. He's definitely regretted. I want to see this guy fight again.
The internet took notice because it was 3 full rounds of humiliation.
Salt Papi! And he's delivered emphatically. What an entertaining performance.
But at this point, Salt Papi was only seen as some chubby guy who beat another chubby guy, so he got matched up against a Twitch streamer who was more fit and more arrogant than the first one.
I'm not coming in here to have fun. I'm coming in here to murder you, bro. And that's what I'm gonna do, bro.
Is there an element of surprise that you're worried about with Andy, right? We haven't seen a lot from him.
I've lost 10 kg for this fight. I feel more conditioned. I'm gonna take him out in first round.
Oh yeah? Really? First round?
All right, Salt Papi in the black. How about Salt Papi the southpaw, a la Manny Pacquiao from the Philippines?
Salt Papi has some of the best arms.
Salt Papi! Ladies and gentlemen, Salt Papi is the real deal!
Salt Papi making a statement with that one.
They've waved it off! The Philippines celebrate! 1, 2, 3, light them up for Salt Papi!
This man was talking about a fight with KSI earlier in the week, and that is how he might get it.
The fight was over in seconds and he stayed true to his word. The internet then blew up as Salt Papi violated every ounce of Andy Warski's ego. The matchmakers then wanted to see how Salt Papi reacts when he gets tested. Like really tested. So they matched him up against an American MMA fighter, Josh Bruckner. On paper, it was looking like our guy didn't have a chance because not only does this guy have a total of 8 professional fights, but he was also bigger at 6'1" and stronger judging by his muscles. Like, come on, just take a look at the difference. But come fight night,
This is where Josh should be excelling. He's the longer fighter, should be touching Papi from the distance.
What a shot!
Man,
What a shot!
he may not get up.
Clean.
He's struggling here. He's all over. It's all over. Whoa! Papi train rolls down the track.
That was a Manny Pacquiao left hand. Stepped inside the guard. You don't see that a lot. And taking advantage of the inside lane and popping him.
this was the fight when Salt Papi gained the respect of everybody, even the pros.
Who are the top 3 creator boxers right now?
Salt Papi.
One? Salt Papi won?
Technically wise, and like he seems like he understands boxing at a higher level, so I would say Salt Papi. Technically.
Also well-deserved. He is so entertaining, so good, so sexy.
He just seems like he gets everything, and he's understanding it, and I think he's going to get better.
This win catapulted him into the top 5 pound-for-pound influencer boxing rankings, along with big names such as KSI and Jake Paul. Heck, some of them are even scared of him now.
Now, I'm just training against Orthodox fighters now. So, no more southpaws. You know, people want me to fight Salt Papi. It's not happening. Okay. I need to fight Jake Paul. I can't get distracted now.
No.
Man, it low-key feels good when people fear us. Another Filipino who should be feared is Dave Bautista. He was born and raised in Washington, D.C. by his American mom and Filipino dad who worked as a taxi driver and a barber. They lived a life of poverty. Their home was located in a place where crime was a daily routine. He once said in an interview that he had witnessed a total of 3 murders right in front of their house as a kid. It didn't take too long for him to adopt a similar lifestyle because as early as 13, he was already stealing cars. By age 17, he started living independently, working as a nightclub bouncer. But that job didn't last long as he was arrested after a fight against 2 customers. One of them was rendered unconscious. He then got sentenced to 1-year probation. He then worked as a lifeguard after that, and at this time, he already had 2 kids and was struggling to make ends meet. There was one time when he broke down in shame when he had to borrow money from his co-worker just to give his kids some Christmas gifts. His struggles continued until he found bodybuilding and started going all in into wrestling, which led him to develop a monstrous physique, and this didn't happen until he was in his early 30s. This was him before. This was him after hitting the gym. Dude is almost unrecognizable. But despite his hard work, a lot of people still doubted him. He tried out in WCW but immediately got rejected and was told by one of their pro wrestlers that he would never make it in the pro scene. When one door closes, another opens because this led him to get accepted to debut in a much bigger organization, the WWE. From this point on, his career would snowball as he carried the iconic stage name Batista. He racked up multiple tag team and world title belts and was able to share the ring with legendary wrestlers like Triple H, John Cena, Rey Mysterio, and The Undertaker to name a few. This line of profession is very dangerous. So injuries weren't a stranger to him. So he decided to put it on hold and started venturing into acting. As expected, a lot of people doubted him again. But not for long because he was able to secure a role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Where is Gamora?
Yeah, I'll do you one better. Who's Gamora? I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?
After the Guardians of the Galaxy, Bautista appeared in multiple highly rated movies such as Blade Runner 2049, Dune, Endgame, Knock at the Cabin, and more. What I like about this dude is he never forgot about his heritage. He's a loud and proud Filipino. He is so proud that he got the total of 3 tattoos representing his Filipino roots.
I was always really just taught to be proud of my heritage. My mom's Greek, my dad's Filipino. Always very proud of my roots, and I display it on my body. A Filipino flag and a Greek flag, and also another Filipino flag and another Filipino sun.
Now that's something to be proud of. Another big dude who is a very proud Filipino is Brandon Vera. He was born and raised in Norfolk, Virginia, but he also spent some of his childhood in Tagkawayan, Quezon, under the care of his Filipino dad and stepmom, which explains his fluent Tagalog.
Nakakatuwa si Brandon, no? Diba? Pinoy na Pinoy, ang galing managalog. Mas magaling ka pang managalog sa mga Pilipinong nakatira sa Pilipinas.
Nahihirapan pa minsan. Minsan, mga ibang words. Yung
May ibang
malalim.
words. Oo, pero diretso, hindi bulol. Diba?
Thank you.
Taga saan ang pamilya mo rito sa Pilipinas?
Tagkawayan, Quezon. And si ma'am galing Batangas.
He even knows a lot about Philippine history.
Marami ka bang alam sa Pilipinas?
A lot. My favorite one is the barong.
Yung barong Tagalog, pambansang kasuotan ng mga lalaki.
Oo nga.
Anong alam mo sa barong?
Saan galing yun? Bakit?
Saan galing ang barong?
Yeah.
Saan ba galing ang barong?
So, the history of the barong is I was told when the Spanish colonized the Philippines, they tried to make us wear clothes. Kasi, di ba, we were savages, not wearing clothes. So, pinusutan ng damit and then laging tago yung mga weapons ng mga Pilipino.
Nagtatago sila ng mga sandata. Okay.
Lahat. I guess the way that they fixed the problem was they came up with a shirt that was see-through. The barong, Tagalog.
Para makita nila kung may tinatago o may daladalang sandata yung mga Pilipino, ang pinasuot nilang damit, yung kita yung loob.
The tattoo on his back is also noticeable. The letters are an ancient Filipino writing system called Baybayin, which reads Mundo, Hangin, Apoy, and Tubig. A Pinoy avatar. Anyway, he excelled in wrestling in his high school days, which earned him a 4-year athletic scholarship at Old Dominion University. But he would later drop out as he wanted to focus only on wrestling. He enlisted in the US Air Force and joined the wrestling team, but his career would be cut short because he would suffer multiple torn ligaments in his right elbow. This got him medically discharged by the army. Nothing seems to be working in Brandon's favor, but he never gave up. He rehabbed his elbow on his own until he was strong enough to enter the Grappler's Quest submission wrestling competitions. He didn't have a coach or a trainer, so this caught the attention of Lloyd Irvin, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and coach, who invited him to train with his MMA school. He later then turned pro and went on to have an 8-fight winning streak while finishing most of his opponents with his signature kicks and devastating knees.
High clinch, watch the knees. That one hurt him. Amir was shaken, and it could be over quickly.
Though he didn't quite reach the goal to become a champion in the UFC, he did become one in ONE FC in a brutal fashion by finishing all of his opponents.
The wrong way. Oh, body shot that hurt him. And he goes upstairs as well. Looking from the nose, the punches come down. Yuji Shimada steps in.
It's a lead hook. I was swinging. And let him do what he does best.
But he was already 40 at the time and his age would start catching up as he would lose against Myanmar's Online Sang. In the present day, Brandon Vera had already retired and moved to the Philippines permanently. He also built his own gym called the Alliance Training Center PH to help train more young Filipino MMA talents. And speaking of talent, especially in combat sports, who would ever forget to mention Manny Pacquiao?
He avoided no one. He's a throwback. He's like the old days when people fought the very best.
Historically great fighter.
He also has a case for greatest fighter, pound for pound, who ever lived.
That's too much power, too much heart.
The fighting pride of the Philippines, Manny Pacquiao.
Oh, down goes Thurman! And let me tell you, that was just a quick punch.
Every time he fights, the country's crime rate drops to 0%. He's a master not only inside, but also outside the ring.
Manny, you have something very kind to say about us,
Yeah,
to the people of the Philippines.
Okay, hello Philippines. Itong mga kasama ko, hindi sila nakakaintindi ng Tagalog at akala nila pinupuri ko sila. Pero sila ay hindi nakakaintindi kaya pwede natin silang ibinta. Kaya mga kababayan, ito wala to, hindi nakakaintindi. So,
That's Manny P.
That's
Thank
extremely
you. Moving.
Yes,
We're
yes.
moved.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Okay, thank
Manny,
you.
We like
thank
that.
you.
Everyone loved Manny, even the biggest celebrities. But before gaining all that fame, he had to go through a lot of pain because he was born and raised in General Santos at the time of poverty and war. At age 5, he'd already seen dead and decapitated bodies. Military and rebel shootouts would happen just a few meters away from their home, so his family had no choice but to leave and settle in a nearby province called Sarangani. Manny's dad was barely there for them, so his uncle played the role of a father figure. He started training Manny how to box and also taught him how to fish at a very young age to survive. He joined several amateur boxing competitions and dominated all of them, but he wasn't earning enough because most of what he got was just a bunch of trophies and medals. Life was too hard that it came to a point that Manny's dad butchered their own dog just to have food on the table. This was Manny's wake-up call, so at age 16, he traveled alone to the city of Manila to become a pro boxer without letting his mom know because he knew she wouldn't allow him back then. He made the gym his home and slept in the ring every night. In Manny's first professional fight, he had to lie about his age just to get in. He was a malnourished kid, so he put heavy objects in his pocket just to make it into the flyweight division, which explains why he looked significantly smaller than his opponents in his early fights. But despite the handicap, he still went on to dominate and clean up the whole flyweight division, gaining him a world title belt in the process. In spite of this achievement, Manny was still relatively unknown to the world. Nobody knew him to the point that the announcers couldn't even read his name properly.
Tail of the tape, Perlisanola Ledwaba against Manny Pacquiao. I'll get it right, Pacquiao.
But Manny's anonymity would only last until this very night.
Boom! He took this fight on only 2 weeks' notice, and he is banging Ledwaba right now. Big right hand upstairs, and now he's got Ledwaba bleeding badly.
The eyes of Ledwaba.
That's a TKO victory for the very impressive Manny Pacquiao.
I frankly had never heard of him, but I've seen and heard of him now.
And you want to see him again.
I want to see him again.
He would then beat everyone in bantamweight, so he had to move up to featherweight where he would earn the nickname Pac-Man, as he would devour most of the Mexican monsters in the division. It came to a point that nobody in the featherweight division, even the lightweight division, was willing to fight him. Not even the prime Mayweather.
Did Floyd duck Manny Pacquiao?
Yes. I have to believe that Floyd is ducking.
So Manny was forced to move up to 2 weight classes. Manny had to face his idol himself, Oscar De La Hoya. Their size difference was so noticeable that Manny's countrymen got worried about him. There was even a bill that was passed just to stop the fight from happening.
The objective is to protect the pride of our nation. Protect him from a possible debacle that may be detrimental to his health. Some say this will be a circus because we see a big man fighting a small man.
But the fight still happened, and Manny shocked everyone when he completely dominated the much bigger fighter and even made him give up in round number 8.
Manny Pacquiao has beaten Oscar De La Hoya.
Manny then went down a weight class to visit the lightweight division to put Ricky Hatton to sleep. Then moved back up to welterweight and proceeded to go on a rampage against bigger opponents. One notable victim was Antonio Margarito, who was arguably the biggest fighter Manny ever faced. What made this matchup interesting was the drama leading up to the fight because Margarito was so arrogant and insulted Manny in multiple ways.
Así va a quedar, mira. Así va a quedar llorando.
Julian, who's gonna win? Pacquiao or Margarito?
Margarito.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Who's that?
Margarito.
No, this guy.
Es puto Pacquiao.
Así es, pendejo.
But just like Salt Papi, Manny did all the talking with his
Pacquiao has his unanimous decision victory. Margarito has a vicious beatdown to remember. His 5th consecutive conquest of a significantly bigger man.
Manny Pacquiao's career is definitely full of interesting fights, but it would take hours if I had to share all of them. For now, let me just give you a perspective on the magnitude of his achievements. Manny is the only 8-weight division world champion, and he has held a total of 13 world titles across all of them. This is a feat no boxer has ever done before. He made it into the boxing world fighting bigger guys, and retired fighting even bigger guys. He was the people's David against the world's Goliaths, and because of his legacy, he became an inspiration to many aspiring young athletes. And one of them was surprisingly a young woman, Hidilyn Diaz. She was only 9 when she got introduced to weightlifting by her cousins, as they used to haul wood, which is a common thing in the provinces to gain extra money. She liked it instantly as she discovered that she was actually stronger than her cousins, who turned out to be boys. They also lived a life of poverty as her parents struggled to make ends meet. Hidilyn was the 5th child among 6, so his dad's income as a tricycle driver and a part-time farmer was barely enough to support them. She had to borrow shoes and uniforms for training and gladly took hand-me-downs. Going to the gym was even a struggle for her because she didn't have money for fare, so she had to sit on her friend's lap to avoid paying. Despite all the difficulties, Hidilyn kept going and her hard work paid off as she got selected as the wildcard entry in the 2008 Summer Olympics in China, making her the first ever female weightlifter to compete for the Philippines in the Olympics. She was only 17. Making it to the Olympics was a good achievement, but winning it all was the ultimate challenge. In Hidilyn's case, the gold eluded her for more than a decade, and it eluded the whole country for almost a century. 97 years to be exact. Her journey was full of setbacks and crushing defeats, but there was one thing she didn't do. She never gave up.
That is it for Hidilyn Diaz.
Pero ilang taon lang siya, nakita natin kanina yung...
It doesn't matter. It's not going to gain her any positions. It's not going to mean anything.
After winning silver in Rio, Hidilyn didn't get contented, so she kept training for the 2020 Olympics. She trained in Malaysia to prepare, but the pandemic happened. Her team got stranded in Malaysia for almost 2 years without training gym access or equipment. But instead of doing nothing, she kept training by using improvised tools such as heavy bags and water bottles. There was a point when they ran out of money and had to ask for financial help on social media, which led to her getting bashed by some fans. But Hidilyn didn't let it get in her head and instead kept training. In the final moments of the competition, China set a word
To become Olympic champion.
Hidilyn's last successful attempt was 124, and in order to win, she had to break the world record again by adding 3 more kilos to make it 127, which was something she'd never lifted in the past. That is almost 300 pounds. It's like lifting a Batista. Ever Olympic gold medal.
Ladies and gentlemen, the anthem of Philippines.
Because, we are not known for our physical gifts. We are not the tallest people in the world. We are not the strongest either. Sometimes we lose, badly, but we never see it as a disadvantage. We see it as a challenge to claim victory by improving our skills and talents even further. We are Filipinos. We are a proud race. Sometimes it makes me wonder, why are we always so proud? Well, the answer is simple. Because we believe that our country's heart and soul are its people.